Greetings, Dumelang, Sanbonani, love and light to you all, family. Welcome to another YouTube video with me, your host, Mathix. So, on today's video is actually a request based on a tweet that this divine sister put out, and she wanted to hear my take on it. And it's a very important topic because it's something actually that I don't think it's spoken about a lot, but it's something that you will see many people doing, and it's also something that many of us will go through at some point in our journey. So the tweet was based on the Messiah complex, and she says that, sometimes what you may perceive or what may come to you as you rescuing somebody, may actually become an obstruction or a hindrance to someone else's journey. When you think that you are doing good, you may actually be doing more bad on that particular individual. So that whole thing is basically known as the Messiah complex or the Savior complex. Now we're going to talk about it in detail, and I'm going to give my perspective on it. And that is actually very true. So first of all, what is the Messiah complex, or what is it from my understanding? Well, the Messiah complex or the Savior complex is the idea, or is the feeling, or it's the action of one being in a particular state and feeling that someone else needs to not be where they are, so then they go out of their way, or they go to extents where now they try to take somebody out of a situation that they are in, because now they feel that, okay, no, that person shouldn't be there. So then now they try to reach out to help that particular person. Now that you would ask yourself, what's wrong with helping somebody, and it actually depends, because most of the time it's based on our own feelings, on what we feel that, no, that person shouldn't be in that point, so I'm gonna go and help them. So that would be a Messiah complex. I see it a lot in very deeply religious people, whereas that was me also growing up in high school. I had the Messiah complex where I wanted to save people from going to hell. So I used to speak about the Bible a lot, like, yo, don't drink, no, don't, when you do this, hell. That's a Messiah complex, trying to save people, trying to bring them to what at the time felt to me like, it's the good thing, I'm doing the right thing, I'm saving people from hell. And a lot of people have this in different religions. Some people are trying to rescue Christians, say, no, come to Allah is the right one. And then other people are like, no, come to Jesus is the right one, or else you're gonna burn in hell. All of that is based on a Messiah complex. Even in nature, we see this, where I think it was in South America or it was North America, I don't remember, but there was this particular experiment that was done, where it wasn't even an experiment. What happened was that they took, well, I guess you could call it an experiment because they wanted to see what was going to happen. They took a deer and they removed from the environment all sorts of predators that could, stop the progression of those particular deer, anything that could kill it or bring harm to it. So they removed all those factors. And what they found out was that the environment started to suffer. The environment started to suffer. Certain trees started to die out a lot. Certain animals also started to suffer, because what happened is that the deer were now reproducing much more than they naturally would have been, because what happens is that the predators, the wolves and all the predators, they keep them in check to some degree, and they also keep them on the move, because when there's no predators, they could stay in one place for a long time and just eat from this particular place, and then certain trees begin to become affected. But when there's predators, they are always on the move. So even the environment benefits from that. So that's why even certain trees have thorns, is to keep certain animals away from eating the leaves. So some things that seem like, this is a predator or this is a thorn, it's there for a reason. Also keeps those animals fit, because they remove the weaker ones. Okay, the elderly ones. Okay, the elderly ones are gonna die. Because even when you look at nature, you might think, it's this evil thing. There's a purpose, there's an intelligence in nature itself. You see, so this is just an example that I'm using from nature to say that you might think that, okay, when predators are not in a particular place, then it might be good, but then it might just be bad for everything in that environment because you've removed the predators. And it goes deeper than just religion alone. It goes from you saying, oh no, look at this poor kid, look at this person on the street, let me help them. And I'm not saying don't help people, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't help people, but now we're going to talk about the fact that some situations that some people are in, they're in there for specific reasons that are beyond the corporeal, mundane two eyes, the two eyes that we use to see into this world. The reasons why they are in that particular reason could be for reasons much more complex. And I'm going to get into that by first of all now explaining what the soul is. If I explain what the soul is, then this is going to explain what it is that the Messiah complex can hinder or it can obstruct from someone's journey. So the soul is said to be the template of the body's experience in physicality, or the body's experience in life, in existence. So in each lifetime that you live, they are experiences that become signatures on the soul. So they are deep signatures and they are light signatures. So some experiences, let's say the first time that you have sex, when you lose your virginity, that could become a very deep experience. So that's why they say someone never forgets their first time. So that could become a very deep experience that becomes etched on the soul. So the deeper the experience, the more the memory that is attached to it. So memory also, we attach memory to certain situations depending on the depth or on the impact that that particular experience has on us as individuals. So now there are light experiences and then there are deep signatures. So there are light signatures and deep signatures. Another one could be something very traumatic, something the first time that you experienced fear as a child, or you experienced where you had your first crush, or where you experienced the deepest pain. It could be from family, from a friend. It could be abuse. Now that becomes a signature on the soul in this lifetime. So now you are a being or an entity that has lived multiple lifetimes. So on your soul, on that template, there are very deep signatures that are etched there, right? And so now the soul being the template of the body that you have in each lifetime is created based upon the template of the soul. So how you come out in a specific lifetime, whether you come out blind or you come out with blue eyes, or you come out crippled in some way, or you come out with some type of gift or ability, whatever it is, that is a signature on the soul that becomes now a programming. So it's basically a programming that is set for you by the higher self for that soul to come and work out in the new body. So you could be born, let's say, with a certain disease. That disease is gonna set a programming that is gonna make you live or play out that particular lifetime in a specific way. So you're gonna live life in a way that now is gonna unburden the soul. Because in order for you to go through this whole process that we call awakening or coming into the higher consciousness or into the higher knowledge, all of it is nothing but remembering and unburdening the soul from past atrocities and past traumas that have happened to you. So now, when you have someone or people who are either artificially or purposefully messing psychologically with the signatures of the soul, then what's happening is that now the soul will not remember why it took on this particular lifetime. So the soul forgets its mission. So when you see a lot of, this is why the system is very dangerous, because now the system has people following out specific created roles that it gives them to say, okay, no, do this. And then now mentally, what happens is that the soul begins to forget the purpose that it came here to fulfill. So you came here to do one thing, that's the signature on the soul. And then you get born into the system that is so corrupted and so well crafted and created for people to follow specific lines and laws and rules and regulations, that now you have masses of people under mass hypnosis doing the same thing, following the same routine each and every single day, that now their individual incarnation plans or their individual purposes on why they incarnated do not get followed through. So now the soul gets burdened on, or rather the burden on the soul is not able to leave, or you are unable to unburden the soul from that particular experience. This also happens with, let's say you have if you are a healer also, or you're a healer, you're a prophet, or you're a shaman, if you have the ability to see and to, let's say you're just walking in town, right? And because of your gift, your clairvoyance, you see something in someone. Just because you see something also in someone doesn't mean that you should necessarily help at that time. The gift of healing, of prophecy, is based on an agreement between you and the person that you are helping. Because you could run to someone and say, hey, no, this is wrong. Hey, oh, I see a problem in your life. Oh, this. And you find that you are not supposed to tell that person, because the experience that they were going to have from solving that problem on their own or in their own means would have been the experience that their soul needed to unburden itself. So there will be situations where, as a clairvoyant, you see someone and you see something. You're going to have to learn to have discernment, or the gift of discernment has to be awakened, because you're going to need to know when to help, who to help. It's not just a thing of like, because you can do it, you just do it to everyone. You'll be walking in town and you see something with someone and you feel that, oh my God, I should help them. If you really should help them, something will happen. Something out of the ordinary will happen that will trigger a collision between you and that individual. Let's say all of a sudden you feel something on someone and you want to help. You pause. Let's say you keep walking. That person drops something. And only you see it. And then you're like, oh, you pick it up. You're like, hey, sorry, hey, here's this. The moment you give it to them, the moment you make that eye contact, or the moment they drop that would be a type of sign that, okay, no, then an interaction should happen here. But if the person keeps on walking, jumping the robot, and then you go and you chase them, that's a different thing. That's you now going out of your way. The universe is going to go out of its way to show you that, hey, this is the type of person, or this is the person that you should help. That person might be walking the opposite direction or you might be walking behind them, and all of a sudden they turn in a hurry and they bump into you. That would be another sign where you're like, oh, okay, something here. So there'll be something that will happen that's going to show you, okay, no, this person might need for me to tell them, hey, Joe, this person in your life, or this and this and this is happening, because we have those abilities to see into people's lives. I'll give you another example. Sometimes I'll be driving, right? I'll be driving from town into a different, like, let's say I'm coming to the location in Okasi. That's what in America, or to the people who are not here, that's what is known as the hood. So I'll be driving from town into the hood, and I'll see some people coming from work, and sometimes they ask me for a lift. They hitchhike. They're like, hey, and then sometimes, like, if there's nothing in the van, depending on what car I'm driving, I'll be like, okay, nah, man, like, I could give two a ride, like take 30 minutes to 1 hour off, that long walk. Then there are days where I see people walking and they don't hitchhike, but then I just feel like, damn, this person is going far and I'm going the right direction. So sometimes I just feel to stop without them even asking me. So this other time I thought of that, and then I asked myself, I was like, damn, what if this man here, it was just a funny thought. I was like, what if this man is walking here and he's an abuser? I'm like, what if this man is walking here and is an abuser? And right now, let's say his wife finally got the confidence, or his girlfriend finally got the confidence to say, while this guy is at work, I know he knocks off at 4. While he's at work, I'm gonna pack my bags and leave and get out of here, finally go back home. She finally managed to conjure up that, the gut feeling to stand up for herself and say, nah, I'm leaving. And now here comes Mathix with his savior complex saying, hey, bro, do you want to lift? And he didn't even ask me. And that woman is back home just praying like, oh, just 30 more minutes and I'll be out of here. I know he won't get here until 4. Just 30 more minutes, please, God. And then here comes Mathix. I let this guy in the car. And then I start driving, and then I start eating on that lady's time now, because the closer and closer I get, I drop this guy. Now he had an hour or 30 minutes to get home. Now his house is like 5 minutes away. He gets to the house. He sees this lady packing the bags. What happens? What are these bags? What are these bags? Where are you going? Now this lady's getting claps. This lady's getting a beating. Because who? Because somebody decided to have a messiah complex. So that's just an example. Sometimes, as the sister is saying in the tweet, you could be thinking that you're doing good, but you could be doing harm. It's the butterfly effect. So it's a thing. There's reasons as to why we have this, or why the messiah complex exists. Sometimes it's because we want to feel good about ourselves, like, oh no, I'm doing good. Sometimes it's for us to feel comfortable in what we're doing. Especially this happens when people are awakening. When you're coming into spirituality, oh my God, you're gonna run around. Somehow, somewhere. Some of you have experienced this, where you wanna wake up your friends. Wake up, guys. We're in a matrix. Wake up. Church has been lying to us. Wake up. The media. There's reptilians in the world that are ruling. There's extraterrestrial life forms that are controlling the government. There's aliens. There's greys. Jesus is a lie. He stole it. No, Africans are actually not just slaves. They were the kings and the queens. And then people are looking at you like, what are you saying, man? What are you saying? And the reason why you're doing that is that you want to feel comfortable in the new setting that you are in. To say, okay, now I'm in this new realm. I'm in this new way of seeing life. And if I bring people to this side, It might make me feel more comfortable. That might be something that is unconscious to you, but it's happening anyway. Where you have this Messiah complex, where you feel like now, okay, you're saving people and you're bringing them to the good side. So this happens to religious people. It happens to people who are so-called spiritual, where now you want to bring people into consciousness, so you run around trying to save people from the system. You're trying to wake up everybody. Wake up, guys. Wake up. The government is lying to us. They are all controlled by one entity. It's the Rockefellers. There's 13 families that are ruling the whole population. They control media. They control the government. They control education. They control churches. They control finance and politics and entertainment. Wake up. Wake up. Messiah complex. You're trying to save people. You try to save people, and you find out also that some people are not meant to wake up in this lifetime. Their soul has not matured enough, or it's not fermented enough to be able to hold the vibration of the light of being conscious. Because being conscious is a light. It's a frequency. To hold knowledge, to hold vast amounts of knowledge in your genetic library takes an amount of light. You have to be vibrating at a certain level for you to not only know the information conceptually and to be able to understand it, because you can know something but not understand it. The understanding is a different light wave. You can hear something. That's why they say there's verses in scriptures where they speak about people in the last days. They will see, but they will not perceive. They will hear, or they will listen, but they will not be able to understand. So you can tell someone something, but then they won't understand it because they are not vibrating at that frequency where they can be able to perceive or understand what it is that you are saying. So when you go around trying to help people, trying to wake up people, some people you may wake them up prematurely, and then that could do more harm than good, because now they're going to go into this deep spiral of conspiracy theories. Oh no, vaccines and not saying that like vaccines are good or bad, but like I'm just telling you, like there's some deep conspiracy theorists that like all they think about is conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy. They hear lightning, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not real lightning. What's happening is that there is HAARP, the weather modifying machine that the Navy SEALs have got, that, oh no, that's HAARP. Oh no, those are chemtrails. The reptilians are ruling. Anything and everything that happens is a conspiracy to them. And so now they go into this deep thing where they're always chasing after conspiracies. And it's like, yo man, so what? At the end of the day, it's like, okay, so what if these things are happening? So what then? What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? You get people who come into this information that they don't do what this information is actually about, which is inner work. So you find people not doing shadow work, magic work, no meditations, no yoga, no reflection, nothing. All they're doing is posting online. Guys, on this stage right here, 666, look, and you're like, yo, man, what are you doing for you, bro? What are you doing for you? Yeah, they might be reptilians. Yeah, they might be, all this thing that the government is doing to just fuck with us all the time. But what are you doing? So some of these people that are doing this are people that had like premature awakenings. Their souls were not ready yet to be told that. They were not ready yet for that meat. In the Bible, they speak about also that some people they still gotta drink the milk from the breasts, from the mother, because they're still babies. They still gotta suckle, they're not ready for the meat. And so now here you are trying to give a soul that's in a baby state a whole steak. And then you're gonna mess up that baby because it's not ready for a hard meal yet. And knowledge is a hard meal, because once you know, oh my God, things fall apart. And so now when things fall apart for some people, they get uncomfortable in that falling apart, and then they want other people to be in that so that they could feel a little bit more comfortable. So in conclusion, the savior complex is definitely a thing. And ask yourself, do you have a savior complex? Sometimes when you tweet, sometimes when you post something, sometimes when you tell someone, why are you telling them? These are things on your journey that you're like, why am I telling you? Why am I telling you? Like you want to save your family and like, oh my God, no, my family is deeply religious. No, leave them. They where they should be if they are meant to awaken. The mere fact that you share the same bloodline, your aura, the telepathic communication that exists constantly, it will, your light through osmosis they will draw from your light, and they will make the realization in their own time. You may say things to them in just a normal conversation that they may not register, but 10 years down the line, they might do that thing that you were saying to them anyway, and they may not even realize that you were the person that triggered that in them or that planted that seed. And at that point, it's gonna be up to you now to be like, oh, now you're gonna be like, hey, you remember I once told you this thing? Yeah, I once told you this. Now you're doing it. No, you'll be like, this person is doing what I was telling them anyway. So the savior complex, that I told you so type of vibe. There are many people who in my reality I know, at the point, there were some people even back in high school, or some people that I went to high school with, when I started posting all the stuff, especially around 2016, 2015, I was going in on Facebook, just posting, just posting. Like some people were like, what's this guy talking about? And then as I started to come more into myself and come more into myself and come more into myself, and I started understanding the journey, like, oh damn, oh shit, oh. And then you find the very same people back then who didn't understand what you were talking about. Now they come to you. They come to you like, hey, yo, man, I've been going through this. Hey. You don't need to go to people. They will come to you. They will come to you. So the Messiah complex, very dangerous, because it happens. We do it as individuals. The government is doing it all the time. Alcohol is another thing. I'll give you an example, right? When people have problems, when they say they aren't to alcohol, they're not dealing with the source. So the Messiah complex is like alcohol. You're giving alcohol to people with your action, because sometimes you could be just masking the thing that the person has to go through themselves. So just because you temporarily forget it doesn't mean that the problem is not there. So the soul is a template of the body's experiences in the flesh. So it has deep signatures and light signatures. It creates, or it is what gives the outcome as to what type of body that you're going to have, the type of gifts, the type of disabilities. You're born, whatever way you are born, those are signatures on the soul. And those signatures are there as a programming that's going to let the individual spark in this new body that it has to know what it is that it has to do in order for it to now be able to make that next quantum leap. Because that's what we are here to do. We are here to make the quantum leap. But before we make that quantum leap, we have to leave certain things. We have to unburden. We have to let go of baggage. So sometimes you're thinking you're helping people, but then you're just putting more baggage on them. So that's the whole Messiah complex. So sometimes don't help. Sometimes just don't help. Just leave people alone. And divine intelligence will do the job, because divine intelligence didn't need you when you were a sperm. You weren't there like, okay, now let me go into the head. Oh, let me go into the egg. And then you were like, okay, now I'm a zygote. Oh, okay, let me form my heart now. You were just oblivious, and divine intelligence was the one doing the things. So now you, as a conscious being, you must still work in accordance with divine intelligence. You can't really get in its way, but you can assist there and there, because you are a co-creator with deity. but it has more of a 90%, and you have like 10%. But that 10% is still important. There are those people that are going to need your help. There are those people that are going to need your help. And that also, again, goes into you not running away from helping other people. Because then some of you are meant to be teachers. Some of you are meant to be healers. Some of you are meant to be singers, doctors, whatnot. And you are doing something that is totally different from that. What's going to happen is there'll be trouble in what you're doing. You know, there'll be no movement. There'll be some sort of stagnation. Or there could be movement, but then the inner could feel so like you feel that you're just being drained. Even though you may be physically progressing, your inner world will feel stagnant. And that is because there are contracts that you have with certain souls, that those souls were contracted to awaken through your teachings or through your songs or through your paintings or through whatever type of work that you were contracted with them to help. So now these souls are going about because now you are running away from something that you feel deep down that, no, this is what I should be doing. You see, so it's a very complex thing. So you're going to experience certain hindrances because you walking this way and you should be walking this way. And on this way, you're going to meet certain people that now, these are the people that were contracted on a spiritual level. Okay, you're going to help us unburden these particular things. Because that's what it is. All of what we're doing right now is creating or is being created by past and future experiences. The past and the future are all happening simultaneously, all at the same time right now. Peace, love and light to you all, family. I hope that this video was of some help. Stop helping. But also, do go out of your way to do beautiful things for a stranger when your discernment tells you, okay, here, let me, then do it. Your heart is going to be the radar that tells you, okay, here. But when it's coming from your thoughts, your logic, then they stay away. But when it's your heart, when you feel it inside and it's like, help this person, help that person. Because then it's something deeper. It's something deeper. Peace, family. Much love and light.